Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to pay tribute to the late Brigadier General Constance Edjeani-Afenu, Ghana's first female general, who passed away on Monday, January 24, 2022. The late Brigadier General was born on March 5, 1960, in Vani Avetime in the Volta region. She was raised up in Tamale and attended the Kamina Barras Primary and Armed Forces Experimental School in Kumasi before attending Wesley Girls Senior High School in Cape Coast to study for her O-level and A-levels. She enlisted into the Ghana Armed Forces as one of two females in 1978, when she was only 18 years old. After 18 months of training at the Ghana Military Academy, she was commissioned as a second lieutenant on April 25, 1980. As the only female in her batch to successfully complete her training, she was consequently awarded the Most Resilient Officer Award in her graduating class. Mr. Speaker, her father as well as two of her brothers also served in the military, and this imbibed in her a strong sense of civic responsibility. This was demonstrated by her great career in the Ghana Armed Forces, where she progressed through the ranks to become the country's first female Brigadier General. She became a role model for women in the Ghana Armed Forces and the country at large. Mr. Speaker, the late Brigadier General later graduated from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration with a diploma in Public Administration, GIMPA. Additionally, she had her postgraduate diploma management practices from École Supérieure de Gestion in Paris, France. Subsequently, she obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting from GIMPA. Mr. Speaker, the Brigadier General Edjeani-Afenu also participated in various UN peacekeeping operations. She served as part of the United Nations Interim Forces in Lebanon, UNFIL, in 1994 and 1998. The UN Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, MONUSCO, in 2007, and the United Nations Mission in Liberia, UNMIL, in 2009. Mr. Speaker, the late Brigadier General later became the first woman to be appointed as Deputy Military Advisor to the Permanent Mission in New York from 2013 to 2016. Her appointment in 1999 as the Commanding Officer of the Forces Pay Regiment made her the first female commanding officer in the history of the Ghana Armed Forces. She made history when she progressed through the ranks to become the first female Brigadier General of the Ghana Armed Forces on March 1st, 2016. Her appointment was confirmed in March 2017 when the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Obed Buama Akwa, conferred the rank on her. The CDS, whilst congratulating her, labeled her exploits as a beacon for females in the Ghana Armed Forces. Mr. Speaker, in 2019, the UN appointed her as the Deputy Force Commander in the UN mission for the referendum in Western Sahara, MONUSCO, where she served with distinction. Mr. Speaker, it is evident that the nation has lost a great servant in the late Brigadier General. She was a trailblazer who served her country with distinction and left an indelible mark which shall never be erased. I wish to use this opportunity as the Vice Chair of the Defense and Interior Committee to commiserate with her family and express my deepest condolence. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I say may her soul rest in perfect peace, and may we benefit from the memories of her. Thank you once again for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
The late Brigadier General Constance Edjeani-Afenu indeed was enlisted into the Ghana Armed Forces, not only to be trained as a soldier, but of course to be trained as a soldier. For a woman to have ventured into an arena which was either to a female, known female arena, was a feather in her cap. She rose through the rank from a second lieutenant to a brigadier general. The late Brigadier General was not only a role model, but she gave hope and courage to the many young women whose dream it has been to join the Ghana Armed Forces. As the first female Brigadier General of the Armed Forces, the late Constance, in fact, must be celebrated. And indeed, I can assure all and sundry in this house that the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ministry of Defense will give her indeed a befitting burial because she deserves it. As the first military advisor to the permanent mission in the UN and all her services in the UN, it was obvious that her services was not only enjoyed in Ghana, but rather in the entire world through her services in the UN. Mr. Speaker, the late Brigadier General also worked with the Ministry of Defense, and she was in fact the link between the ministry and the Controller's Office. She made sure that our men and women in uniform, salary and payment were done on time. This was a morale booster for our men and women in uniform, and then she deserves an applause for that. Right Honorable Speaker, as the first female commanding officer of the Forces Pay Regiment, it is obvious that if one listens to all that she did, she became almost the first female in everything she did. I believe that indeed she was not only a trailblazer, but rather a pace setter. She set the pace for other women to emulate. And she also gave a true meaning to the saying that what the man can do, the woman can do better. In fact, she has done it better, and she deserves every applause and every commendation. Right Honorable Speaker, with these few words, I can only commiserate with the family, and I wish that God will grant them the strength in this trying moment. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, as I read about her, I don't know her personally, but I can only imagine the determination with which she entered the military. And I can only imagine how much hard work and perseverance she had to put in just to get to that position that we are celebrating today. Mr. Speaker, this is a woman who became the first commander in the armed forces, the first woman commander in the armed forces. This is no small feat. So today, if you see women standing to eulogize her, I believe she did a lot to show other girls and other women that we can actually climb all the way to the top. And we can be the best that we can be if only we work hard, if only we do what we are supposed to do, and if only we don't let the men intimidate us. Mr. Speaker, she did her best in ensuring that she got a good education. She didn't end where she started in the military, but she added to her knowledge and she added to her skill. So as my colleague Honorable Zenato said, she earned her stripes. It wasn't handed to her on a silver platter. You can see from her background that she had to work
really hard, both in educating herself and also on the field. She was able to achieve a lot of goals, and she ended up also working with the United Nations. Mr. Speaker, to end my submission, I would like to say that I hope the military is honoring her as much as we are, because we believe that any woman who is able to achieve so much is doing it for all women across the world. She's not only doing it for women in the military, she's also doing it for women all across Ghana. And indeed, I'm speaking on behalf of all women today, just as my colleagues have done. We are indeed proud of Brigadier General Constance Edjeani-Afenu. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.